All right, welcome. This is going to be quite a change of pace here. So, today I'm going to be looking at the DC McFarlane Azrael figure. No script, no nothing. We're on the third take already, so who gives a damn? I'm gonna try to find ways to figure out to get it so that YouTube doesn't auto strike this as kids, but I don't know, maybe the size matters with the bullets should, do something. Who gives a shit? I might as well get this off this is a good figure up front. You don't want to see this video, fine. Good figure up front. If you're into shit like this, buy it. It's cool. McFarlane, he's one of those, he's objectively the best one, but don't get it twisted. He still has a lot of really, bad outputs, He's got a lot of bad figure releases. For every one of these, don't get me wrong, there's quite a few of these. You're going to get for every 5 of these that happen, there's going to be about 10 stinkers. So, he's still a great company, in terms of figure quality and whatnot. The McFarlane toys, easily one of the best. Which isn't saying much, at least especially for the $20 market. Certainly beats Hasbro out the park. So with all that said and done, let's, I guess, start with the accessories. Now, sad thing is that this guy doesn't come with a lot of accessories, which sucks. He absolutely could have used some nice open hands, some clawing hands. Look at that, None of that. You just get this. No batarangs, no nothing, no flame effects, no nothing. So this is Batman, Azrael Batman armor from Batman Nights. It's pretty much the end of the Nightfall comic storyline. I'm sure if you buy a compendium, you'll see this image at the end of the compendium. So, it gives you a little bit of that. Who the fuck cares? Wikipedia exists, or the comic. And then, as standard procedure with all McFarlane figures, you receive a regular display base. All of them are the same, with the exception of like a couple of his elite figures. You just the logo of whatever company is there, and yeah, there's that. So onto the figure itself. It's pretty cool looking, I'm not gonna lie. So starting with the head, we got this really cool Knight Templar shaped helmet. I really fucking dig it. It's so goddamn cool. You got the orange visor there, nice sculpted detail. It's simplistic, it is, but it's really well done. There's a beauty in simplicity at times. So it got the bat ears. Then moving on to the chest here, beautiful armor. Of course, the design of this figure, the design of the character is what's going to carry this figure the most here. So we got the nice little armored portion of the collar. You got the neck there that's got the various lines that are not painted at all because McFarlane can't be bothered to reach there, you got a nice gold square there. You got the cool bat logo, this nice black contrasting with the red. Black and red, easily one of the best color schemes there could be. Then you got the wings too. Now these wings are kind of shitty, admittedly. They're just static pieces, no moving. You might be able to see there, but they just peg in there. It's nothing much, The detail's fine. Paint's a little different. The head and wings have a different color. They're darker than the chest color, so that is something to know. There's quite a big contrast there. It's not that good, but from afar you won't notice it. So it's still pretty cool though. Go to the back. You see the nice fuel source for his gauntlet flamethrowers, and while we're at it, decent chain links for his flamethrowers. Don't know how that works. Isn't that shit supposed to be provided via a tube? Got the nice armor, the golden armor with the lines as well. Certainly better than the modern superhero things where they just got this generic follows the rib cage and then it goes down. That is so soulless, dude. There is zero fucking soul in that whatsoever. You got the nice armor, golden armor, arms, sleeve, the gray spandex suit underneath. It's actually textured really well. You're not going to be able to see it, but there's a really cool, fine, spandexy texture / look. Certainly better than whatever the fuck Hasbro does and just giving you a solid piece of plastic with no texture whatsoever. There's at least texture here, and at least to the eyes you're going to be able to see it. You might be able to see it on his balls there. while you're looking at his balls, It's weird. So, you go on down to these gauntlets. Pretty cool. You got the nice gold underpiece and all the red overpiece. Really hefty, meaty gauntlets. You got these, I forget what they are, the little bat wings on the gauntlets, designed to like slash into shit. You got the nozzle for the flamethrowers as well. I've got this camera in fucking 4K. I don't know why it's not. There we go. It's got to be 5 fucking inches away from the camera, lest it doesn't work. So, you got the pretty cool silver hands there. It's a shame they're not open or grasping. That would be cool. That would be really fucking cool. But you could still get him into some good poses, I suppose. Yeah, except on this arm, one of my fucking blades here has decided to have an extra couple chromosomes just going down, I guess. I don't know what's up with that. Makes zero fucking sense. I don't know, probably fucking hair dry it back in the position I want. So, oh, and also, don't let it get twisted. These are soft plastic, but very, very durable. McFarlane, I don't think I've ever had a McFarlane figure itself break, just like one accessory. That's it. McFarlane stuff is built very durable. Automatically, get the fuck out, Hasbro, McFarlane doing laps around your ass. Got this cool white padded Under Armour here, dude. Not the fucking clothes sports brand, but still, you got the armor plates there. You got these nice yellow goldish pouches. They're decent. So there's the texture now. Got his bandolier here, the quads. Pretty cool, like superhero muscle sculpt there. You got these as well, which are sculpted. They're sculpted like they're onto a piece on the spandex, and he's got these feet, just generic spandex feet. As for articulation, we got a pretty nice ball jointed head. He can tilt his head all the way side to side. He can look pretty far up, almost all the way up, shit. There we go, yeah. And then he can look all the way down too, really well. Swivel. Arms, they're on these like ball joint butterflies with these floating pieces around to kind of help cover the sculpt. So you get it's still limited. You're not going to be able to raise his arms up. You're not even going to make him do the fucking mustache man salute. But yeah, you can just have him, there. So up, round, sort of pivot back to back there. Swivel at the arms. Double bend at the elbow. Double bends are always the best. Don't care what anybody fucking tells you. Double bended elbows, they're the best. These weird pin ball joints here. With the wrists barely work on most McFarlane figures, but this figure they're already predetermined. Pre-sculpted in fine. You're not going to be able to move them that much due to the thick ass gauntlets and thick ass metal hands. Body, there's 2 ball joints. I think it's double ball jointed. You got one up top, one at the bottom. You got this diaper piece as well, sort of this, well, not diaper, but rubber piece. So he can go somewhat forward, but he mostly looks all the way back. Here, let's move that out of the way. Yeah, pretty far back. So, and swivels even in the lower one too. Legs, they're just regular pin joints. You go up pretty far, actually, surprisingly far. Yeah, it is a rubber piece that can get molded and shit. Pretty far out. There is what looks to be somewhat of a swivel there. I'm just not able to articulate it very well. Double bend at the knee. Ankle pivots, so you can swivel it, pivot it, rock it forward and back. And then a bend at the toe. Now, this is admittedly a really great figure. There is a lot of things. The recipe for mediocrity is there, right? It's just the design is just so fucking cool, and a lot of McFarlane's strengths being the articulation, and just overall design or sculpt, I'd say. Even if there's a lot of finer details missing, like maybe paint or accessories and whatnot, I would still recommend buying this for people who like Azreal and shit and want them on their shelf. I'd still buy it. It's still great. And with that said, thanks for watching.